我们一生注定是沧桑，苦之来要笑着走过呀。
Have you ever spent hundreds or even thousands of dollars on a luxury handbag or designer product only to find out it was made in China? Spoiler alert, almost everything is. But here's the thing, Chinese manufacturers are done staying in the shadows. They're calling out Western brands for their massive markups, exposing the truth behind your favorite Made in Italy labels, and proving that Made in China no longer means cheap. In this video, we're diving into how Chinese factories are flipping the script on luxury brands, and why savvy shoppers are cutting out the middleman entirely. Plus, I'll show you how to switch Taobao to English so you can start shopping directly from China like a pro. Whether it's high-end fashion, beauty products, or niche teawear, the secrets of affordable luxury are about to be unlocked. So, if you're ready to see how the global game of luxury is changing forever, stick around. You won't want to miss this.
They probably should have took this app away when they had the chance, because the Chinese manufacturers just hit them folks with the Uno reverse. And right now, the Chinese manufacturers are the best content on TikTok. They said, oh, tariffs, you say? Oh, okay. American people, y'all said y'all like New Balance, Adidas, Nike, bet. Oh, yeah, the manufacturer is such and such, located at such and such in Guangzhou. They do shipping within this time, and here are the products. I've seen the manufacturers for every brand anybody could possibly think of, from shoes and apparel to beauty products. One of the Chinese manufacturers said, oh yeah, you know how you pay such and such $100 for Chanel beauty products? Well, we only make them for $10. Listen, I don't know how this tariff thing is going to play out, but the way that the Chinese manufacturers are playing their hand, absolutely well done. 10s across the board. I told y'all in the years that I lived in China, I got everything under the sun because everything is pretty much made there. So to see people learning about the actual quality that's in China, because not everything is made cheaply, and learning about websites like Taobao, y'all better get to getting while the getting is good.
Chinese manufacturers are pulling back the curtain on Western luxury brands, and the results are pretty jaw-dropping. Many iconic brands like Nike, Adidas, Chanel, and New Balance rely heavily on Chinese factories to produce their products. For example, over 80% of Nike's footwear is manufactured in China and Vietnam, while luxury beauty products from brands like Chanel or Dior often have a markup of 10 to 20x their production cost. One manufacturer mentioned that a $100 Chanel product costs them just $10 to make. These revelations expose the staggering markups consumers pay for exclusivity and branding, markups that disproportionately benefit Western companies, not the actual producers. But platforms like TikTok and Taobao are now amplifying this reality, showing people the high-quality manufacturing happening in places like Guangzhou. It's no wonder savvy shoppers are turning directly to Chinese sources for affordable yet identical products. The question is, will this transparency force luxury brands to rethink their pricing, or will consumers keep paying for the logo?
You've likely seen these videos come up on your timeline of China exposing the US to the rest of the world in the most petty but effective way, by showing how the typical American buyer is actively getting scammed in real time every single day. If you've paid for Lululemon, you've been scammed. If you've paid for Gucci, you've been scammed. If you've paid for any of these up-end designer brands, you've most likely been scammed. You see, China is actively fighting back against J.D. Vance's claims against the Chinese peasants only being able to produce scraps to which the Americans tend to import. We are finding out in real time how the most expensive luxury brands within the Western world are actively scamming Americans by saying that their products are built and manufactured in European countries like Italy or France, when in reality, without China, they would be nothing. All of these companies are seeming to do is have their products manufactured actually in China, they import it into somewhere like France or Italy, and then slap that logo on in that respective country so that they can say that it's made in Italy or made in France. And of course, what a lot of Americans are now realizing now is that the reason as to why they're paying that super expensive price for that designer brand is because it was made in Italy. But in actuality, it's made in China. And if it said that it was made in China, it would bring down the price exponentially. And this is why people say not to pay for these designer brands, because you're not paying for the quality, you're paying for the logo. I don't know, personally, the 200-day free visa to actually shop authentically in China is sounding pretty tempting.
Turns out many high-end designer products Americans shell out thousands of dollars for, like Lululemon, Gucci, or Chanel, are often made in China. These brands then ship their goods to places like Italy or France, slap on a Made in Italy label, and charge exorbitant prices. Many luxury fashion items labeled as Made in Europe actually originate in Chinese factories. This deceptive practice allows brands to justify massive markups based on perceived prestige, not actual production costs. A handbag might cost $50 to make in Guangzhou, but sell for $3,000 because it carries an Italian logo. China's viral exposés are pulling back the curtain on this scam, showing buyers they're paying for the brand, not the quality. And with platforms like TikTok revealing these truths, more people are realizing how much they've been overpaying. Why spend $2,000 on a bag when you can get something similar or even identical for a fraction of the price directly from a Chinese manufacturer? So here's a question. Will this transparency change consumer behavior, or will shoppers still chase the allure of a European sounding label? Either way, China's petty but effective revenge is shaping how we think about luxury and who's really behind your favorite brands.
Chinese manufacturer TikTok is bringing exactly the type of petty that I live to see in international relations. The type that doesn't physically harm anyone, but still hammers the point home exactly where it hurts. The economy. I am a political scientist. I specialize in Chinese governance, and I used to work for the Chinese government in exactly this field: industrial development and localized Chinese foreign economic policy. Let's talk about this quiet revolution by Chinese manufacturers and what it could mean. Chinese manufacturers, Chinese OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, are the companies producing the products for other companies to then sell on as their own. So you will have seen the Hermes bags example. These are produced in China, then shipped off to Italy to have the logo sewn in, essentially. I will never forget touring a garment factory in Guangdong, where I used to live and work, and finding out that the same company that produces Victoria's Secret underwear also produced a range of bras for the cheapest discount supermarket in the UK, Asda. They had a Katie Price range. And the only difference between these two products was the logo. In a world where pretty much everything is made in China no longer just means low quality materials and production. It hasn't for quite a while. I mean, there are areas of the economy where this is still the case, but that's often driven by foreign demand, not by Chinese domestic consumers themselves. Because, as Terry Pratchett warned us long ago, there is nothing more expensive than a cheap pair of boots. For a long time, Chinese consumers looking for quality would turn to foreign brands. Like with cars, the Made in Germany label came to represent quality worth a significant price up. But that's changed. You've got Chinese car producers like BYD winning huge overseas contracts. Like BYD now produce the iconic red London buses. Foreign companies then are scrambling to supply these Chinese champions rather than just producing for themselves their own brands. All this is to say, Chinese companies are starting to realize their worth. They're starting to intentionally promote themselves as Chinese. Case in point, Florasis, Huaxizi. It's a Chinese makeup brand that is doing the rounds on TikTok, on Instagram. Like, these products are incredible, and it's explicitly marketed as Chinese. This is Douyin style makeup. This is Chinese traditional marketing and Chinese regional differences inspiring each marketing campaign. Another Chinese company fulfilling a specifically Chinese niche in Europe and the US is Teetsy. Like, I stumbled upon Teetsy, which is a teawear company founded by former international students, Chinese students overseas, who struggled to find decent, high-quality teawear when they were studying outside of China. And I think a lot of you commented on my mountains, my glass mountains mug, and also my tipping Vortex Jingmai. I got these directly from Teetsy, shipped from China. This mountains mug was only 14 euros.
She's a political scientist that specialized in Chinese industrial development. And she explains that Chinese OEMs have long been the backbone of global supply chains producing goods for iconic Western brands like Hermes, Victoria's Secret, and even high-end cars. But now they're stepping out of the shadows and promoting themselves directly to consumers on their own terms. For decades, China was unfairly associated with cheap or low quality goods due to foreign demand driving mass production. However, as she highlights, this narrative is outdated. Today, China produces premium products that rival or surpass their Western counterparts. For instance, brands like BYD, an electric vehicle giant which now manufactures London's iconic red buses, and they're securing international contracts all the time. Even niche markets like teaware are being disrupted by companies like Teetsy. These examples show that Chinese companies aren't just undercutting luxury brands on price, they're challenging them on quality, innovation, and cultural pride. By embracing their identity as proudly made in China, these brands are flipping the script on decades of stigma and proving that made in China can mean excellence, not compromise.
China said, you want to go low? Let's go to fucking hell. And I fucking love that. China's like, this is where we sell this, this is where we sell this. We're getting lists and lists of all these factories, but there's no concrete website. So does anyone know the websites where we can actually purchase these things from? Can we write it all in the comment sections, whether it's technology, whether it's beauty products, whether it's clothes, whether it's shoes, whatever it is that we can get from there, but the actual websites where we can purchase it, because I love what they're doing, but it's still not giving us a website where we can actually go and purchase these things. And I want to do some shopping, bitch.
This is where platforms like Taobao, 1688, and AliExpress come into play. Taobao, in particular, is a treasure trove for everything from beauty products to electronics, but navigating it can feel a bit overwhelming if you don't know Chinese. That's why I'll be showing you exactly how to switch Taobao to English, so you can start shopping smarter and take advantage of these incredible deals. If you're feeling adventurous, 1688 is cheaper, though it's tailored to wholesale buyers. So there you have it. Chinese manufacturers are rewriting the rules of luxury and exposing the truth behind the brands we've been paying a top dollar for. From viral TikTok reveals to innovative Chinese companies stepping into the spotlight, it's clear that made in China is no longer something to hide. It's something to celebrate. And if you're ready to cut out the markup and shop directly from China, don't forget to check out the part where I show you how to switch Taobao to English. Trust me, it's a game changer for finding high quality products at a fraction of the price. What do you think about this shift? Are you ready to ditch designer logos and start shopping smarter? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the untold stories shaping our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.